game plan with a completely new roster?
It's different for sure. I think early in the year, because film is so much more limited than it is, after you play 6, 7 games, it's always tough, especially it's not even the fact that it's early in the season and game planning off less games. It's a plan a team that has a completely new roster where you're either having clips from, 1 or 2 games that they played, or you're pulling clips from the previous school that they played at, right? So we've had to do that, these first 3 outings that we've had. So, but the guys have done a great job. They've adjusted well, and it's something that we've done a pretty decent job to try to pick up on and get what we can from the scout.
What's the Pat Kelsey team do?
Play hard. They play really fast. They're gonna take their shots for sure. I think at Charleston he did a really good job of playing an up-tempo style that was tough for his opponents, and he always played really well against the high major teams, and obviously I think beat a few of them as well. But I've known Coach Kelsey for a while now, and he's always been a high energy guy. His teams resemble that. Obviously, I think he shows that a lot on social media. So definitely respect him. We respect him. We think it's going to be a great game for us. We were happy we were able to get this home and home on the schedule, especially with a prestigious program like Louisville. So we're looking forward to it.
I was going to follow up on that, Coach. A storied program like Louisville and a SEC team like Tennessee, having an early season game like this, what does it mean?
Yeah, I think us as coaches, we're basketball coaches, but a lot of times, like we grew up fans of the game as well. So Louisville is a program that's always been, it's a proud program. Like I was in college in 2013, and I went to school in Kentucky, obviously Lindsey Wilson, and they won a national championship in 2013. So, Russ Smith has been up here doing his work with the Vol Club and his bourbon company, and he's been in the gym and working out, and Russ Smith was a legend in Louisville, you know what I mean? So Louisville's a proud basketball program. We're excited to, like I said, excited to have that home and home. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us. I think it's great for the sport, honestly, having a home and home with 2 programs like this. And it's something that, we look forward to being a really good outing for us. Obviously, hope we come out on top. But it's going to be a good, like I said, a good game for the sport, all in all.
What can you take away from facing a guy like Chucky Hepburn that you faced last year into this year when he's in a new system, if anything at all?
Well, you respect what he's done over his college career. You respect who he is as a player. Chucky's always been productive. I think 2 years ago when we were at Battle for Atlantis, Chucky was obviously at Wisconsin, and they were in Battle for Atlantis, and we got to watch him there. And I remember talking about how good I thought he was, and how productive he was. And then obviously to play him last year, now to play him in a different jersey this year. Regardless if he's in a new system or not, we still know the player. And as a player, like he's a really good player. He's seasoned. He's a veteran. He knows how to run a team. He knows where to get the ball, where it's supposed to be. He makes big shots. He's a strong, sturdy guard. So we'll definitely have our hands full with Chucky. He's a good player.
Coach, when you watch film with the guys, what were just like 1 or 2 points of emphasis that you really wanted to make progress on from game 1 to game 2?
Honestly, you really want to get better at everything. As far as our game 1, we definitely want to rebound the ball better. We feel like we have a team that should be a good rebounding team. And we've been able to resemble that, but it just goes to your mindset and your 1-2. I think when you go into games like this, especially on the road, the message has just kind of been like, look, we are who we are. We're gonna be a team that's banded together. We're gonna take our culture on the road as we've always done, but the message to them always is when we go on the road, and we said it for years, you gotta have your brother's back. And how you have his back is you do your job every single possession. Because the possessions where we don't do our job, they could be costly for us, and they could be the reason that we win or lose a game. So I think that the point of emphasis as we move forward each game is to get better, and obviously not just at the things that we didn't do well the game before, but to get better at everything that we work on every day in practice.
What did you like about Cade's performance on Monday?
Yeah, I think Cade is kind of like that Swiss Army knife of energy that we bring off the bench that can guard multiple guys, they can do a lot of different things offensively. The game just needs to keep slowing down for him offensively, him making the right reads and, playing out of short roles and playing his DHO game. He's got to keep on getting better at that. But defensively, man, he changes the game. He adds some athleticism around the rim that's obviously hard to cover. Like the lob he caught, it looks pretty regular for him, but that's probably a play that I think the 1% of college basketball can make. He makes it look simple, but that's how athletic and quick twitch he is, and obviously his wingspan and length is huge for us.
Are Stone and Bishop possibly available for this game? Is there an update on those guys?
I think the same update as before. Still kind of trying to work through things, get them guys back, but trying to let them do it at their own speed. I know that both of them are really trying to get back as soon as possible, but we just trying to be supportive of them, get them back in time, man.
Where are Felix and JP health-wise compared to Monday?
Banged up, but getting through it. They had a really good practice. Both of them really good practice yesterday. The day off definitely helped them. I honestly, man, like those two guys, it's kind of a blessing and a curse that they go against each other every day because, they're physical. They both go at each other. They both compete really hard. And some days you just kind of like watching, two big, strong men in the cage just going after each other, and it's it's great. We're helping them for the next game, but you kind of hope that they can dial it down some. But that's just not how they play. So they're both getting back, to feeling a little bit regular. Like I just talked to JP. He's like, yeah, I'm a little sore, but I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. So they're both really excited, ready to play this weekend.
How much have you seen Igor grow the last 2 weeks with the scrimmage to the exhibition to the opener?
He's grown a lot. His processing has definitely, slowed down a little bit, which is good. He's still showing that versatility. I think the biggest thing, he took 1 3 last game, and I think all of us as a staff would love for him to take a few more because we definitely think he's a big-time shooter. That's one of the best things that I think he brings at that position for us with his size. His rebounding was pretty good. I think that he's definitely starting to figure out what he needs to do for this team. And I think the biggest thing is like our guards are figuring out how to play with him as well, how to help them be more effective, how he can help them be more effective. And then, defensively is something that he's continually working on every day, but he's actually gotten better. I thought last game he did a lot better of a job defensively. And, he's going to have to carry it over this weekend for sure.
I feel like Felix and JP can get back to 100% health-wise while still playing every game.
I think so. I think as basketball players, man, when I tell guys all the time, especially when they're freshmen, like the days of you feeling good before every game are over. Like that just never happens again. That's whether you're in college, the NBA, whatever level of basketball, you never feel 100% before every single game. Do you feel like you're at a rate where you're extremely functional and you feel like you can pop up and go dunk and jump and run? Like, yeah, you feel like that. But do you just feel like your body is, no bumps, no bruises? I feel completely fine, like I'm fresh out of bed. No, you don't ever feel like that. And with those guys and how hard they play and the physical demand that we ask for and what they ask for themselves, it's just tough. Like they're not gonna do that. But I think with all of the guys, we talk about them taking care of their bodies, coming back at night, getting in the cold tub. Chazanier before last game just started getting in the steam room before the game. He's like, I feel really good, I feel loose. So just kind of help them with the resources that we have to teach them how to take care of their bodies, especially for the long run.
What's the difference in Jordan Gainey's game this year compared to last year?
I think that he knows what he wants to do. I think last year he was just trying to figure it out. He was so reliant on making threes and making shots, whereas now I think that he understands how good his driving ability is, how he can break down the defense off the dribble and catching on the run and getting downhill, playing off of 2 feet. He's a lot more sure of himself offensively, which is great. Defensively, he's still, a ball hawk. He still gets after the ball, gets a lot of deflections. Excuse me. He's been doing a really good job of that. But I just think that it's just growth, him growing another year, playing at this level, understanding what he does, what he's good at, and then just taking advantage of it, honestly.
Coach, how different is this for you guys as a staff? You've always had a transfer piece or two, but to have 3 transfer starters who are veterans, how does it change the process?
It's different, but at the same time, it's like when you bring in freshmen, you bring in new guys to the program, it's probably a little bit better, as I'm sure a lot of coaches around the country would say, because they're older, they're a little bit more mature, they're used to being coached, they're used to the college game, so certain things that they know off rip already, but it's still an adjustment, Igor has been at the high major level, Felix has been at the high major level, Chaz is not, D Stone has, But Chaz is not. Like a lot of these things that Chaz is learning, he's, you know, never really been exposed to, which is kind of like the thing that excites you about it. Because you're like, man, like you never been exposed to these things. You don't even know anything about this at this level. And it's all kind of a breath of fresh air for him to learn and get better. With guys like Igor and Felix, again, they came from high major, but it's still an adjustment of how we do things in our program. So it's been, you know, different for us, just as far as trying to get guys caught up to speed that are used to other systems. But at the same time, it's no different than bringing in a freshman that has to, you know, learn what you do and how you play. It's just they come from another system, so it's kind of a transitional period that they go through.
Thanks, Rod.
Appreciate it, Rob.
What was your reaction when you got the call